Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sunny Side. I'm Sunny, and today on Astro Q&A, we're going to answer a question that came in on the chat a couple nights ago, and it was, hey Sunny, what if I don't have any of a particular element in the chart? All right, good question. So the elements are earth, wind, air. Oh, I messed this up so many times. Water, fire, earth, air. There you go. And sometimes weed. That's a different kind of element. All right, whatever. Okay, so listen to this. The other day, a question came in, and it was, what if I don't have a planet in a particular house? That's not such a big deal. And in fact, that's quite normal. In addition to that, in my experience, just off the top of my head, most successful people, not all, but most successful people, they tend to have many houses that are empty, astrologically speaking, because they tend to have concentrations of energy, right? Concentrated success, more success than others. And so if you have an empty house, don't worry about it. But if you have an empty element, right? If you're missing earth in your chart, or if you're missing air in your chart, even a little bit, or if you're missing water in your chart, right? If you're missing water in your chart, so I'll tell you what's going on, and then I'm going to show you something here. If you're missing water in your chart, you're going to lack empathy. That's just the way it is. You're going to be you're gonna lack empathy. You're gonna be pretty cold, pretty calculated. It depends where the planets ended up, right? If there's no water, but they're all in fire, you're gonna be very fiery, extremely impulsive, very competitive, and you're gonna have a leadership drive about you. If it ended up in Earth, you'd be very stable, right? Or if it ended up in air, you'd be extremely cerebral, extremely conversive, and you'd make logical decisions and no emotional, no emotion at all. If there's no water in your chart, let's move on. If there's no earth in your chart, you're just not going to be grounded. Now, you might have great ideas. Now, these are good. As with everything here on the sunny side, especially when we do astrology, we do our best to make the most out of what we have. And so if there's no, let's say, earth in a chart, there are a couple of things you can do about it. Now, this video isn't really about what to do if there's no element in a chart, but if you lack a particular element, then don't worry about it. There are things you can do. So if there's no water in your chart, you're going to lack emotion, you're going to lack empathy. Watch out for those guys. You're going to be cold ass motherfucker. It's like, and that's if you lack earth in your chart, you're not going to be grounded. So you're going to need to find something to ground you. You might lack reality. Like if you have no earth in your chart, there's no earth, but it's all fire, you're going to be extremely fiery and extremely impulsive, and you might burn out quickly. Or you might not create anything because there's no earth, there's no tangible substance to what you're doing there. If there's a lot of air, you'll be conversive and aloof without any tangible. You might be all in your head. If you lack fire in your chart, well, what do you guys think it means if you lack fire in your chart? It means like you're gonna have no drive, or your drive isn't going to be competitive and fiery. Your drive might be emotional, right? So if there's no fire in your chart, but you have a lot of cardinal water, like Cancer, then you're going to be you might be aggressive, right? You might be aggressive. You might have leadership qualities, but you're not like the most competitive, openly look at me competitive person, right? Because there's no fire in your chart. You're like, hey man, that guy's got no fire. He's got no fire in his bed. What if there's no air? Oh, you're probably dumbass. No, if there's no air, yeah, you probably fumble with your words, or you're always in your feelings, or you're always at the gym, or you're always like doing something tangible. You're always at work, doing numbers or something. But if there's no air in your chart, then you're going to be cut off cerebrally, so to speak. Cerebrally, is that a word? Cerebrally. What does that mean, man? It means joined by your cerebrals. Cerebrally. Oh my God, someone kicked me in my cerebrals earlier. Okay. All right, whatever. Okay, what? So whatever. So that's the deal with the elements. It is a big deal. It's a big deal. If you don't have a planet in a house, you won't even recognize it. You might recognize it when you compare yourself to others, but living your life, you won't recognize it. But lacking an element in your chart, you will absolutely feel that in your day to day life, and you will notice it in things you do and the reaction of others towards the way you behave. All right, now check out some astrology. Okay, so this is a chart. This is a chart. This is February 17th. And this is the chart breakdown. And I went into the little description before I showed you this because I wanted to explain what lacking an element in your chart meant. Now, in addition to that, we'll talk another day about what to do if you lack an element. There are things you can do if you don't have a planet in a particular house and you'd like the blessing of a particular planet in a house, like Jupiter in the second house to make lots of money, or the fifth to have lots of kids, like whatever. So like whatever you want. But there are ways astrologically that we can manipulate that in your chart. But before we get, and so I'll do that if you ask, we'll do that in another video. But so you could add money or add love to your chart if it's not there by doing certain things. All right, just ask, leave it in the comment section, I'll show you. Okay, now this is something really cool here while we're cruising through. Check this out. This is how the chart is chopped up. Dig this. So on this particular chart, there are more numbers than you're going to find if you go to like Astro Data Bank or Astro whatever. Because on my charts, I have a whole bunch of midpoints and some asteroids and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. So like my charts are a little, they have more stuff on it. So over here, they're going to have different numbers. So just a heads up. But that's not the point. The point is to show you what's going on. And so over here, watch this. Now, for those who watch me do astrology live, sometimes I talk about this, sometimes I don't talk about this, but it is very much a part of the way I do astrology and the way I look at a chart. If we look at, so up here, these are the modes, right? This particular chart for today is a fairly fixed sign. There's a lot of stuff happening in Aquarius. This person is going to be stubborn. I'll show you how to read I guess one of these days I'll show you how to read the chart from each of these little boxes here. Anyways, so today we're talking about the elements. And this guy, a little bit of fire, a little bit of fire, a little bit of earth, a little bit of fire, a little bit of earth, a little bit of air. So this person born today is going to be extremely cerebral, extremely in their head, very analytical, probably somewhat aloof, and very, very strong in, he's going to be a very strong thinker, a very strong, it's going to be an ideas person and communication person. It's going to be a friends first person. So, all right. Next, now I didn't say they're going to excel at school or anything like that. It's not a Mercury thing. It's not a planet thing. It's an element thing. So keep that in mind as well. Look at this little thing here at the bottom. I use this all the time in the live stream readings. This particular box right there, it's the division of planets. And on the chart, so there are three, and you see me do this all the time. There's 3 and then 14. I draw it just like that on the chart, and I'll show you the chart here. And you can see down here, it's actually at the bottom, right? Because it's split right here, and you can see these 3 planets here are actually in the 3rd house on the left side. And all of these guys are over here on this side of the chart. And you see me do it all the time. And that's what this one here looks like. Right? And I always say it's the me side of the chart versus the we side of the chart. This particular chart is a very we side of the chart. I also do this over here. What's inside versus what's outside. It's kind of neat. Anyways, this is where you're going to find it. This is where you're going to find it. There are charts for it. Right? There are charts for it. out there, and all the data is out there for your chart, and it's already done. But that's the deal. I hope everyone has a super amazing day. But that's what happens. That's how you do it. So that's what happens. If you don't have any element in your chart, it is a big deal. No, if there's no earth, you're not going to be grounded. If there's no air, you're going to lack communication skills. You won't think things through. You're not going to be very logical. If there's no water, you're going to lack emotion. If there's no fire, you're going to have you're not going to have a very drive. And that's the action, guys. Keep your questions coming. That's the action, guys. Keep your questions coming. I like doing this Q&A stuff. It's kind of fun. That's the action from TheSunnySide.net. I'm Sunny, wishing everyone the best of a super amazing day, and I'll see you guys soon.